As a former teacher, I believe the future of education affects all of us. The global pandemic changed the educational landscape while creating a model for the schools of the future. During this presentation, I will focus on the following. First, how the pandemic has affected every area of public education. Next, shine a spotlight on the strengths and challenges of our schools. Finally, identify where the research indicates the future of education will go. So, how did COVID-19 affect public education? When the pandemic hit in March of 2020, 1.4 billion students were out of schools and universities across 190 countries. Educators were forced to pivot from in person to remote learning with little or no time to prepare. The process for teachers, parents, and students was chaotic. What should have been a 2-week school closure has turned into more than a year of disruptive learning. So, how will teachers bridge the learning gap as a result of the pandemic? Well, there have been many educational advances that were accelerated as a result of the pandemic. For example, new apps and software were developed to aid instruction, such as one called Sentry, which tracks student performance and provides individualized lessons for improvement. 2.4 million learners in America were given computers or emergency internet access. Teachers collaborated to solve common issues, not only with their peers, but with the global community. Summer catch-up camps have been created to help struggling and low-income families. The US government, through the American Rescue Plan, provided $122 billion of funding directly to the schools. The amount of money spent on ed tech globally is expected to double from 200 billion in 2019 to more than 400 billion in 2025. The current challenges facing our schools, the digital divide continues. Even though the US government has provided computers and internet hotspots for some low-income students, there are still many without. The challenge also remains for young students who cannot manage the technology independently. Inequity. During the COVID-19 pandemic, students of color regressed academically by 6 to 12 months compared to white students who regressed by 4 to 8 months. Food insecurity. The American Rescue Plan has dedicated $12 billion in food assistance. However, schools face food shortages amid supply chain disruptions. Where the research indicates the future of education will go, COVID-19 may not have caused the digital revolution, but it definitely speeded the implementation. The future of work and education will include more technology. There will be more options, such as remote or hybrid learning, to accommodate all modalities of education. Not every child fits into the traditional in-person educational program. New teachers must understand the key skills required for the position have changed to include data analysis, web design, and computer troubleshooting. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.